years.
Right. Okay, the brutal murder, as we switch gears, of the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee that we showed you on a Charlotte train. Thankfully, we freeze right before the brutal bludgeoning, which caused her death, is now under federal investigation as we learn more about the suspect's lengthy criminal history.
Madeleine Rivera joins us now from Washington with the latest. Maddie?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, this is a really sad story. Iryna Zarutska was killed last month, almost exactly 3 years since she moved to the U.S. from Ukraine to escape the war. Surveillance video now shows what happened before the attack. Zarutska is seen getting on a light rail in uptown Charlotte, and she sits directly in front of the suspect. Investigators say about 4.5 minutes later, that suspect pulls a knife from his pocket, stands up, and stabs Zarutska 3 times. He has been identified as 34-year-old Carlos Brown Jr. It does not appear that he and Zarutska knew each other. Records show Brown has a criminal history spanning more than a decade. He's been arrested for felony larceny, robbery with a dangerous weapon, assaulting a woman, among other charges. The crime is once again shining a light on the revolving door where local judges don't do enough, as some say. Here's President Trump talking about the case.
There are evil people, and we have to confront that. I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic, just got up and started. It's right on the tape. We're going to get to the end of it. And, you know, when you have horrible killings, you have to take horrible actions.
Federal agencies are getting involved. FBI Director Kash Patel says they've been investigating Zarutska's murder since day one. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says his department is also looking into Zarutska's death.
I can't pull money today from their transit system. I actually have to do an investigation. That's what the law requires. We start that investigation tomorrow, and I guarantee all your viewers that if I find what I think I'm going to find, they are not going to have your federal tax dollars going to their public transportation system. Zero, none, nada.
The Charlotte area transit system now says it's planning to implement more safety measures, including adding more security and contracted officers. Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian.
All right. Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie. So in this country, we judge people by the content of their character. And when you look at this guy, over a decade, he showed his character. Hitting women, convicted of robbery, dangerous weapons release, arrested 3 times for misusing 911. The judge requested a mental capacity hearing as well, arrested for assault, larceny, breaking and entering. And then he finally escalates to this point. He even hit his own sister. So our jails and prisons were created for a reason, and we have to use them. And the criminal justice system, unfortunately, let the whole community down and this young woman.
Well, his own mother told a TV station that he should have never been allowed to roam the streets, that he was schizophrenic. So in the early charges, he was dismissed by judges. Then he pleaded guilty to 2 charges of felony larceny and breaking and entering. The judge suspended his sentence and put him on probation. Another time, he was released 6 months early after 5 years in prison. Then a judge released him on the same day after the 3rd time he misused 911, according to the affidavits. Based upon a written promise, the judge says, I want a written promise that you will return for your court hearing because of the cashless bail. And the governor there says we need more police. But the question is, he was arrested 14 times by the police. So it sounds like the police did their job. Are the judges and this cashless bail, are they the problems?
I like the way you said that because you pretend like you don't know the answer. You know the answer.
Yes.
The judges are the problem.
Yes, it's the justice system in North Carolina.
Governor Josh Stein says this: we need more cops on the beat to keep people safe. That's why my budget calls for more funding to hire more well-trained police officers. I call upon the legislature to pass my law enforcement recruitment and retention packages to address vacancies in our state and local agencies so they can stop the horrific crimes and hold violent criminals accountable. A couple of things. These people don't want to be cops because when you arrest somebody, when you put your life on the line, everything's taped, they're getting out. So they're not making really, they're really saying to themselves, do I want to spin my wheels? Do I want to put my life in danger when you can put a guy like this that need a written promise that he's going to show up in court. He's been arrested 15 times. You mentioned beats his sister, beats women, and obviously he's clearly deranged. And when the Charlotte mayor comes out and says we're not going to arrest our way out of this, and I'm not talking about it out of respect for the family, don't insult us. We do this because it makes you. You don't want to talk about it because it makes you look terrible. That's the lead editorial today in the New York Post. That's the story. You got Republican states usually run by Republicans. In this case, a terrible candidate was put up against Josh Stein, who won, and Cooper, who is a popular governor for a Democrat, is going to be running for the Senate. But that's a Republican state. When you have a Republican state with these cities, like Governor Abbott is taking action in Houston, the governor of Mississippi is taking action in Jackson, and my hope is you have the governor now of Louisiana taking action in New Orleans, because these city councilors and these mayors don't care. They think criminal first.
The problem is, Ainsley, is that we keep hearing from the activists and the professors' class telling us that this needs a new solution. It doesn't need a new solution. You arrest bad guys. They stand trial. If someone is ruled to be a violent offender that can cause harm to the public, you keep them behind bars until the trial. You don't. And if they want to be rehabilitated in jail, that's one thing. But if they're a danger, they got to stay locked up. Yeah. We had a city council member on Fox and First, and they talked about the broken system.
This is a poster child example of someone who's clearly a harm to themselves and harm to others. Our police are doing an excellent job in arresting these types of individuals, but we have a court system that's overwhelmed. We have a North Carolina system that has deinstitutionalized individuals that really should have hospitalization and permanent around-the-clock care. I hope this wakes up a conversation not just around the mental health topic, which has certainly been talked about a lot, but we have to actually follow that with actions. And as sad as this tragedy is, I hope that it will shine a bright light on it.
Mom said he was homeless because she had to kick him out because he was so aggressive. FBI Kash Patel says they are investigating this train murder, and there was a GoFundMe pages to help this suspect. Thankfully, GoFundMe did the right thing and took those down.
Just a couple of things. Mike Watley, this is why you're running for Senate. But go out there. You know you were a congressman there. You ran the RNC. Tell us exactly how you would fix this, because as a senator, you have great impact. And I also think this is another example of crime mattering to the American people. And the working class in America are the most vulnerable. They're the people that have their prime, they're behind gates and have their security and go at work in high security buildings. You're not the main problem. The people that are working every day from paycheck to paycheck, they're the ones most susceptible, that have to take a bus, they can't hop in a car.
And let us know if the judges are the ones who should be held accountable. Friends at foxnews.com, because Congressman Randy Fine has planned to introduce legislation to hold those judges accountable if they let someone out and they reoffend.
I love it.
Many of them are elected. You should get them out of office.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.